Good morning. In this video, we are going to learn how to edit a ready-made GemVision material in V-Ray and save that new material that we have edited so it can then be used through the GemVision V-Ray render builder for future use. So we're going to start off. I have got this signet ring with a stone in the center of it that I've already designed. And I am going to apply materials to those two layers. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to design a bark finish, but I'm going to start with a hammered finish to get me there. So I've applied the hammered finish, and let me get a gem out there. And I always like the citrine, it looks good in renders. Okay, I have not applied anything at all to the ground plane. I personally like to leave it white. And light box is my favorite. And let's do a quick render just to see what that looks like at this point. Okay, so as you can see, that's a light hammered finish. Got a couple different things going on here. You can see the hammered finish through the stone. The hammered finish is a different shape and dimensions coming around the ring in different areas. It's really tight here at the very base of the ring, but it loosens up as it comes around. Otherwise, for a hammered finish, that looks okay. Not what I'm looking for my render. Not realistic. And I want to have more of a bark finish going up and down on the ring. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explode my model. There's surfaces in here that I don't need to have a bark finish. So I'm going to turn off my stone for the moment. I am going to okay, so as you recall seeing here, we're seeing all this stuff through the gem. So I want to separate those materials out. I am going to go ahead and use from the solids menu, extract surface command. Well, that's one I definitely want extracted. Not the one I was going for, but so we'll go ahead and we'll put that on another layer. We'll turn off the gray layer so I don't click on it. We want this inside layer extracted, and we'll put it on another layer. Okay, so this outer ring goes on the same layer as the outside. That one are all on one layer. So I'm actually going to take it, I'm going to join all light colors here. You don't have to. Okay. So if I turn that layer off, and my rim, that is all we are left with. And that's all we want to have is shiny metal. And we're also going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to explode this guy. And I'm going to separate that layer. Join those two back together. Let's pull everything back out. That I'm going to put on the same layer as my ring base. And since this is only for rendering purposes, I'm going to separate one more layer here and just get rid of it. Otherwise it's going to interfere. We'll see a line right here at the bottom. Okay, so I've got this split up into 3 different metals going around the stone. So if we come up here to our metals, and we'll come back down here to our gold hammered finish. Highlight that outside color and apply. Then we're going to go to yellow dark gold, and I'm going to apply that to my metal layer 1. And since I am lazy and don't want to have to high polish the inside of my ring, I'm going to just do a brushed finish on the inside. So we'll highlight that color and apply. Pull back out my ground plane, and let's go ahead and render it real quick and see how that looks. Okay, already it's a much nicer appearance to it. So, but still not what I'm looking for. I want a nice long stretched out bark finish. So what we want to do, come over here to your V-Ray Builder, and the very first button there opens up your material editor. And what we are looking for here is we are looking for the hammered finish yellow gold. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick this one right here, yellow gold dark fast. And on the right hand side, we're going to click on the Maps button. Here you'll see you've got bump is checked. And with bump checked, you'll notice that there's a capital M next to it. The capital M signifies that there is something being added to the bump layer. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on that M, and this little window pops up. If you hit the update button here, this represents how that bump map is being applied. Right here in your repeat area shows that you have 15 repeats of the single bump map in the U direction, 7 in the V direction. So if I was to change that to just 1 by 1, that will give us a representation of just what one of those images looks like. And that's your hammered finish bump map, just by 1. And so when you do those repeats, they stack and whatnot. So we know we're going default 15 by 7. Now we just need to figure out what that direction actually represents. So I am going to start off by dropping this number here down to 5, and that number down to 2, just so I've got a real drastic change, and that should tell me which direction everything goes to. Do not forget to hit apply before you hit render again, and you can move this guy right off the screen and hit render. Well, you can see that the pattern is a lot larger, and probably a little bit too large to give us the directions indicators that we need. So I'm going to close that out. I'm going to bring this back in, go back into my hammered finish. I'm going to play with these numbers until I get the results I'm looking for. I'm actually going to come back up to 10 on that. Apply. Render. Okay, so it looks like the 10 number that I put in the U direction is going along the up and down of the ring. So we need to reverse that. We want it to go the other direction. You can do that one of two ways. You can either rotate it by 90 degrees, or we can switch these numbers around. 10 by 2. I'm actually going to go by 4. And I'm going to try that first. I'll hit render. Okay, as you can see, this is definitely going the direction I wanted it to now, and it's getting a lot closer to what I want. It's just not as defined. It's very light finish to it, still hammered looking. So we want to deepen that. One way to do that is go back here again to your bump. We start playing with this number right here, this multiplier. This changes the darkness of your bitmap, since bump mapping is controlled by your black and white and variances thereof. We're going to go ahead and start off by going full to 1, apply, and we'll see what that does. As you can see, we're a little bit more defined, so we're going to brighten that up a little bit more. I'm going to go to 2. You can always hit the update button to see what that's actually doing. Go apply and render. Okay, and that's deepening our cuts. That's probably just a touch too much for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to back that off now. 1.5. And render. Okay, and there we go. Now, if you happen to really like the way that that came out and would care to use that again in the future, there's an easy way to go about saving that. I'm going to go ahead and save where I am at first. I'm going to save this model. In my render box, advantage to this is it saves your material, your environment, any edits and anything you did, any hidden layers are all saved. You can just open that box up again and you're ready to render it exactly the way you had it, even in the placement that you saved it at. Okay, but I'm also going to save in a job bag just that guy. And let's see, we want to go ahead and save this material, so go ahead and open up your material editor again. We're going to rename this. So right click on the name, go to rename. So we're going to change this to bark. I would call that 0 degrees. Bark 00. Put an underscore, enter. Now we're going to right click on that again and we're going to export this. Export this to a location that you can find easily. I'm just going to drop this on my desktop for now and save it as the default file format. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this out. And actually I'm going to get rid of all of these materials here. Delete, 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 delete. Nothing there. Close that. Now if you come up here to your V-Ray Builder, this very first icon that has this little guy and a plus, almost looks like an MSN Messenger icon. Go ahead and click on that. That pulls up another little sub-menu. What we want to do is we want to highlight your materials, or my materials, and make sure that's highlighted. It doesn't like it if it's not. You can add categories from here. So if you want it, like I have here, I've got wax, glass, ground planes, miscellaneous, and miscellaneous gems. You can add whatever categories you want for these new materials. But this is where it's going to get saved. I'm actually going to drop mine into my miscellaneous box. Now come down here to fast, medium, and slow. You can develop different renderings for each of the metals or each of these selections, but we're just going to do fast since we're only going to do one version of this. Surf to where you saved that. Here's mine. It's a Vismat file format. Go ahead and click on that and open. It should automatically fill in the name. If it does not, go ahead and fill that name in. You can put a description if you want. Now down here, click Preview. Another little menu. For metals, I suggest using the Simple option and then OK. What it's going to do is it is actually going to render that material now on a different object. Okay, that's going to be your preview. And once you've got that set up and you like it, let's go ahead and click Save. Material saved. Click OK. Now we're going to go one icon to the left, to the little folder with a ring behind it, and that gets you back into your main V-Ray menu builder. Alright, so we'll drop down here to User Materials, find where you saved it. I saved mine under Miscellaneous. Got a couple different materials in there, and here it is. If you left click on it, it makes it bigger so you can see it better. If you right click and hold, you've got an option to either delete that material. You can only delete your own materials. You can add it to your favorites, or you can export this material. So I am not choosing anything there. We know if we go to our editor, there's no materials applied to this scene at all. So I'm going to grab just my metal layer 4, and I'm going to apply my new material to it. I'm going to go back and grab my sandblast finishes. I'll do the gem while I'm here. Apply that, and then the dark green gets the shiny metal. And we'll come down to our environments. Again, I like Lightbox. Although for this one, kitchen will probably work well. There's a lot of yellows in the kitchen, so reflections should be really nice on that. And let's go ahead and click Render. And it applied your new material to that just nicely, just the way you had it before. I'm going to lay this down and do another full render on it. Open that up. I'm going to actually group these guys all together now. So we go up here to Utilities and Group. Everything moves at once. Rotate command. And that's about the angle I'm looking for on that. And hit render again. And there you go. Enjoy, have fun, make lots of materials and save them, and it's cool. Take care. Bye-bye.